We got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson back here on the program. Stephen, how are you, sir?
Doing great, my friend. Getting ready to head to the gym right now and get some work in. And what better than, to start that up by having a chat with you, man.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, my man. How are you doing? Obviously we haven't seen you since the Till fight. When are you looking to get back in the cage? I know there's some rumors about January. What's the latest with you?
Yeah, man. During that Till fight, I ended up tearing my MCL. So just trying to heal up from it. For some reason, it's taken forever for this knee to get right. I've had 4 knee surgeries on it, and I'm having a hard time getting the swelling down after a good training session. So it kind of leads me to believe if there's something else wrong with it, is it meniscus? But we're going to get that looked at. And yeah, man, we're looking at December, January-ish. Preferably, I would love to fight in December. Not really sure who yet. Of course, would love to fight Robbie Lawler. Would love for that fight to happen. But, it's kind of up in the air. I know he was coming off of a knee injury as well. So it could be anybody at this point.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about location and all that stuff and opponents in a little bit. But I got to talk about, Darren Till and Tyron Woodley. Of course, that fight took place over the weekend. I know you had a nice tweet out there. But just your overall thoughts on Tyron's performance going out there and submitting Darren Till.
Yeah, man, after a fight, especially with the champ, I have to kind of throw something out there every now and then, get people talking, good or bad, it don't matter. It was a great performance by Tyron Woodley. I know he said, watched some of his interviews afterwards, he stuck to his game plan. First round, he did a lot of clinch work, just kind of, had some blitzes here and there. I think Till only hit him with 1 shot, I think. Maybe the whole time. But, I knew it. If he got close enough and landed that right hand, it was going to be devastating. And you saw what happened. Ended up knocking him down. He got the ground and pound and submission. So, man, hats off to Tyron, man. He's a very intelligent fighter.
Were you expecting Woodley to finish Darren Till? It sounded like you did. But, what was your thought heading into the fight?
No, I actually thought Till was going to be more aggressive with his strike. To make Tyron work a little bit, doesn't matter if it was wrestling or if it was just throwing kicks and punches, but he didn't really throw a whole lot in the first round, and Tyron's style can kind of do that to you, because he backs up a lot, and he kind of waits for you to make a move, then he throws. But in this fight, it looked like Tyron was the aggressor. He did back up, but he was the one blitzing, he was the one punching, he was the one wrestling. So he was the one making Till work.
Did it bother you at all that Till got that shot to begin with the fact that he missed weight against you and your fight? I mean, I think people could argue that you won that fight. Did that bother you at all that he got the shot?
You know what? It did at first. The way the things went down. I didn't think he won the fight. He did make weight, and the UFC is wondering why guys aren't making weight. Well, there's not really any consequences, guys can miss weight and still move up. They can sacrifice, 30% of their purse or whatever it is, 20%, to make more money their next fight, and that's what they're doing. But you know what? It's over. It's in the past. The fight happened. Didn't turn out Till's way. Till went out there and tried to do what he thought he was going to do. He thought he was going to go out there and really pressure, but maybe fill him out in the first round, like you said, and Tyron just got off first.
After you tweeted out about the main event, Colby Covington tweeted you back. Did you see the tweet? And if so, what was your thoughts on him calling you a virgin?
I did see it, man. You know what? It kind of made me chuckle a little bit. The stuff that comes out of that guy's mouth, it's funny, but at the same time, it's like, this dude's trying way too hard, God. He's trying to be a Conor McGregor, and he's just not him. He's not doing a very good job of it. But, people love to hate this guy, and he's the kind of character, that's the kind of character he is. Nobody likes him. He's got a few friends out there that kind of enjoys him a little bit. But it gets some fights, man, and I think he'll be getting the next title shot next.
You mentioned earlier about potentially fighting in December. Are you looking at that card in Toronto? You had good luck there when you fought years ago against Chris Clements. You won in Ottawa as well, and I know you were there, obviously for the 206 card as well. Is that what you're eyeing at this point?
You know what? It is. It is. I would love to fight in Toronto. I think it would be the perfect time to step back out in the octagon. Not really sure who yet though, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed with Robbie Lawler, and that's kind of what I'm sticking to right now. But yeah, man, I love the fans out there in Toronto. I love the country. It's amazing. Yeah, man. So hopefully you guys will be seeing me back in the octagon in December, early December. I know we're talking to Dana White about getting that fight here in my own hometown, which hopefully that we can still make that happen. So yeah, man, just really excited, itching to the bit to get back out there and do it again.
And speaking of Toronto, one of your good friends, Josh Donaldson, I don't know if you saw, got traded from the Toronto Blue Jays to the Cleveland Indians. Did you see that?
I did see that, man. I did see that, and it kind of stinks because I love the Blue Jays. I've been watching them ever since I became good friends with Josh Donaldson. But hey, it is what it is, and sometimes things don't go your way, and he got traded out. So hopefully I'll be the fan of his new team.
Right.
Wherever he goes, man, I'll be supporting. So.
Do you still keep in touch with him at all? Because I know you guys were communicating, a few years ago.
Yeah, man. I mean, we tweet out Instagram. I message him all the time. We FaceTime each other every now and then to see how life's going. The guy's a good guy, man. He's an amazing athlete. He cross trains doing MMA, which is pretty cool. After a good fight, we sit there and talk about the fights, how it went. So yeah, man, super cool guy. And, I hope his career with his new team is great.
Speaking of friends, one of your teammates, Carl Reed, picked up a big win a few weeks ago. Just thoughts on Carl's progression, and especially now that he's doing this full time.
Man, this guy, he's my main sparring partner. He's a 205er. He walks around about 240. He's tall. He's about 6'4", close to 6'5". And this kid, it's amazing how fast he has progressed since he first started with us. I think his first fight, without hardly any striking, went out there and just beat the crap out of the guy. And now that this guy's got some skill, he definitely has. He can go out there and defeat anybody in the UFC in 205. I'm going to say that right now. He can. He's amazing. And he's still learning, which is ridiculous. He's the Limestone University's wrestling coach. He's a huge part of our team here at Upstate Karate, helping our guys get ready. He had a fight, went out there and just demolished the guy. He was on the Ultimate Fighter Contender Series, but he had a bad weight cut, which that all happens, but he's learned from that, and he's getting better every day. It's amazing. I love to watch this guy progress and go out there and do work. I can definitely see him in the UFC one day.
And you mentioned about possible opponents for you if Robbie Lawler doesn't pan out. Are you looking at like a Kamaru Usman or Rafael Dos Anjos? Is that something that interests you as far as if Lawler doesn't end up happening?
Yeah, man. Anybody right now. I think some of these fights might be already matched up, but you may see that those fights are getting announced here pretty soon. I don't want to say anything, but yeah, man. It could be anybody. I really don't care. Anybody in the top 5, top 10. I'm ready to go out there and do some work. And, show the fans what I'm really capable of. That last fight with Till ended up tearing my MCL. My movement was out the window. So, and I expect people to go after my knee again. So we're going to be doing some things. And you're going to see a better, well-rounded Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, a better MMA fighter instead of just a striker.
Last question before I let you go. We got the Ultimate Fighter going on here. We don't know if it's going to be the last season or not. If they ever came to you and asked about coaching the Ultimate Fighter, is that something you'd be interested in?
I think it would be pretty cool. Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool to go out there and actually, train and be a part of something like that. These guys' careers would be really cool, especially these new up-and-coming guys. I found myself the other day just thinking about, I wonder who my coaches would be, if I was ever picked to be, to do something like that. But yeah, I think it would be very interesting. I actually tried out for the Ultimate Fighter.
Which season?
Oh my goodness. It was years ago. I don't remember which one it was. And we tried out. There was 2 weight classes I tried out. It was the 170s and the 145ers. They ended up going for the 145ers, but I made it all the way to the interviews. You have to show them some grappling, show them some striking, then you have an interview at the end with like a handful of guys. So I made it to that, but they decided to go for the 145ers. But it was pretty cool because it put me in front of some of the guys higher ups in the UFC, and they were pretty impressed with what they saw. and which is why they called me when somebody had backed out during a fight. So it definitely was able to put me in front of some of those guys, which is really cool. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't, just because I'm a homebody, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
I hear you.
Guys that were on the show, they're like, oh my gosh, it was so stressful. You know, it's just that you're in a house with a bunch of crazy guys. You know, you got a full bar there. You know, some of these guys turn into alcoholics by the end of it. So I was kind of glad that I didn't do it. But some of these guys just don't know a way to make it in. So that's just a sacrifice they have to make to be able to be on the show for I don't know how many months with these crazy dudes. You know. So, but I think it would be pretty cool to go out there and coach some of these guys.
Very cool. Well, we're looking forward to your next fight, Steven. Again, I appreciate the time as always. I know you got to get to training. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, man. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wonderboy MMA, Steven Wonderboy Thompson on Facebook. And I would like to thank you, man, for having me on the show, brother.